beautifulest thing in this world, gender revealed. Hot damn, it's a girl. And we move with intention. If you don't come correct, no, we don't listen. We on a mission. Did I mention? Cooking greatness, baby, we in the kitchen. In different dimensions, the energy shifting. Quite befitting, vibrations lifting. From corporate to the courtroom, we can afford to walk in our standards, then abort you. We ain't birthing no disrespect. Everybody gotta come correct. We talking gross and net. Baby, I flip coins and checks. Baby, I keep heels on neck, stunting season. And I don't need a reason to stunt, cause I always get what I want. Been getting it.
Welcome back to this Sunday's episode of the Every Woman Show. I'm your girl, Tam Flake, and I'm joined by my lovely cast of co-hosts.
I'm your girl, comedian Toy Tutar.
I am Okila Nivo.
Peace. Peace. It's me, Sabrina Athena.
And that's your girl, Alicia.
Woo.
And we are live with the group chat.
Yay!
We got our live studio audience in here. Thank y'all so much once again for joining us for another week here in season 3 of the Every Woman Show. It is our honor that you have chosen to spend this time with us tonight. So thank you.
Thank you.
Now get y'all questions ready because we are coming to y'all in the audience today to join in the conversation. Today, we are talking about preventative maintenance checks and services. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we want to make sure, ladies, that we are having these conversations not only with each other, but with our listening audience, our friends, our family, the people we love, to make sure that we're checking out our boobies and other parts of our bodies to make sure that everything is in order. You know, once we get to a certain age, we might start to forget to do those things. So anyway, what we gonna start off talking about today? It's cuffing season.
Ooh.
Okay.
Y'all got, you don't have nobody to cuff
I'm
with?
cuffing my body pillow.
Body pillows are cuffable.
Did you get a new one? I'm just kidding. That's personal. What does cuffing season even mean?
Well, usually whether you got a new boo, it's a reoccurring boo, a husband, a wife. Okay. It's that time where you take that moment to cuddle up with your boo thing, you know what I'm saying? Sitting cozy by the fire or by Netflix.
Okay, so the fall vibes is in, the leaves is falling, the temperature's dropping. We got some pumpkin spice on the shelves.
There you go.
Very true, very true.
So if you don't have anybody, you might be looking for somebody because it is cold.
Putting applications in.
Right.
Sabrina, what you got going for cuffing season?
I mean, applications are welcome. I'm reviewing candidates for potential cuffables. I think that, you know...
Cuffables.
You know,
Add that to the dictionary.
Potential cuffables, you know, there are standards that need to be met. You know, you need to feel good when you wrap your arms around me because how else can I get cozy in the cold unless I feel safe and, like, you know, some nice big arms. You know what I mean? So that's a part of cuffing season. You know, I like to cook. I'll feed you. You hug me. We cuff. Submit your application.
Okay.
And then you go home.
Did y'all make sure y'all caught that ad?
And
what's the new ad, Sabrina?
I'm sorry?
What's the new ad so they can submit their application?
Yes. At all ways, as in all and then ways, all my ways, Sabrina. That's my Instagram. You can go ahead and push application.
Slide into them DMs.
All right. I'm just accepting them. I can't say I'm going to accept anybody in particular. We'll see what comes along. It might not be no good ones. I don't know. Ain't been no good ones in a while.
I'm accepting some too.
Come on, okay, look.
I'm accepting too.
Come on.
Accepting too.
I'm gonna just stick with my body pillow.
The best
Application's closed.
Right now, that pool is a little murky. I don't want it right now.
Oh, I mean, we did kind of just talk about that a little bit. Not on this show, but, you know.
What is cuffing season like when you're married?
Yeah.
It's like live-in cuffing, you know. I can, like today before I came here, I was like, he was in a chair. Oh, I don't know why I started talking like that. So he was sitting in his chair in the basement, and I just wanted to go and sit in his lap and cuddle and hug. Aww. So I just went and hopped in his lap and went on him because, I'm getting ready to go out of town, so I'm not going to see him for a little while. And I'm like, you not coming to be in our live audience tonight? And he was like, the Lions is playing. I was like,
well, you know what? When you get ready to go home, you should send him a text like, yeah, go ahead and put on them gray sweatpants I like. Yes.
He stayed in the gray sweatpants.
Wrong with it.
Work from home, so he always in the gray sweatpants. It's cool.
It's all right.
It's cool, but it's really nice to really have that warm body next to you.
It is.
And I'm going to miss him when I'm gone for these next, 2 weeks or whatever.
2 weeks ago.
I'm going to be using a pillow like you.
Yeah, but they're comfy.
Yeah.
Can we get to where Tam is going? Like, you leaving? What are you talking about?
So I'll be on a plane this time tomorrow, heading to Seoul, Korea.
Oh, Korea.
I'm excited about that. And then from there, heading over to Phuket, Thailand.
Ooh.
Yes.
Come on, black girls travel.
On a girls trip. I did it. I did.
You got to keep us updated with some pictures.
I will.
Yeah, that's
definitely.
Listen, we can talk about inviting yourself on girls trips later, but this was one I don't care. I'm coming too. I'm coming too.
Honestly, like 3 people already dropped out, so it was plenty space for someone who would
How do you know
commit.
this girls trip?
Because it's every girl's
exactly
trip.
what happened.
Every girl's trip.
That's exactly what happened.
Just go anyway.
Some people don't ever make it out the group chat.
Very true. Very true.
Somebody bring me some from the trip. Like,
oh my gosh.
You could brought yourself, or the person who brought themselves don't like to have fun and do anything.
Listen, but see, I feel like I'm the type of person I fit in most situations. Like, I am not someone you can't bring along that ain't gonna get along with other people. I'm not really a mess starter. I'm not messy. But I may not always be everybody cup of tea, and I understand that, and that's not on me. But if it is, I own it.
It sounds like you're a participant.
Okay,
That's good.
so what we got coming up next is the peak from last week. Toy, you got some stuff you want to tell us about, so looking forward to hearing about that. Here it is.
Oh my God.
So recently, Raven-Symoné, she made social media headlines, right? And this was actually due to a book being released from Disney. The book was actually called The Untold Stories of the Rise and Fall of Disney Channel's Tween Empire. And they done spilled the beans, y'all, okay? They saying that Raven-Symoné basically had 2, not 1, but 2 breast reductions before the age of 18. Wow. Now, people were really shocked about this. The whole episode where it was described in the book basically said that it was a show about body positivity. And it's kind of crazy how it's a show about body positivity, but special effects were used to actually make Raven-Symoné look slender during the episode. Kind of like a kick in the you-know-what, right? And so she went on further in another interview to mention that she had 2 breast reductions before the age of 18, and it was strongly suggested by her father that she have this done. There was definitely some paperwork involved. And he asked her a question. He said, well, is there anything that you want? And she said, well, maybe I can get some lipo so people will stop calling me fat. It's unfortunate that she had to experience something like that as a teen. Raven-Symoné's always been known for her weight fluctuating, going up and down, and to the point where she felt uncomfortable and at that young age wanted to have liposuction. I just feel like under the age of 18, that should not be a memory of her teen childhood.
It might be why she's kind of like not as much in the spotlight today, too. She's not pressed.
Oh, yeah. Raven don't get no Fs, okay?
Yeah.
She really doesn't. And then in other news, y'all wait till y'all hear this. Donald Trump then came to Detroit and dissed us. He done dissed Detroit.
I'm not surprised.
At the Detroit Economic Club.
Man, yes. And
I started to go to that, too. Oh, my God. Just out of pure curiosity.
But Detroit definitely has some clap back, okay? He basically said that, because some people was like, well, what did he say? What did he do? What doesn't Donald Trump say or do, right? Well, he said that if we were to vote for Kamala Harris, that the United States was going to be just like Detroit. Oh. First of all, what's wrong with that? Detroit is on an uprise. Detroit is thriving.
I just had a hot flash. I'm sorry.
I mean, no, we're not perfect, but things are on the come up. But to be in the city of Detroit and say something like that, are you really trying not to get the votes? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So
I don't.
So that means if we vote for him, then we're gonna be like what?
Like who?
In the dumps? I mean,
in the dumps with Trump.
I think that from what I understand for the entire conversation to be that he may have actually had something to contribute in an potential intelligent way. I'm not on that train, but I do know that being tone deaf is never going to get a point across, and you can never say anything like what he said in the city. Yeah. Everything is questionable. Nothing is legit anymore on both sides. Well, you're controlling the weather. Well, you had a ketchup packet. I'm like, can we get to the point? Like, people hungry. Like, what are we talking about?
And they're eating animals.
Yep.
Oh, Lord.
So you
got another one, or is that it?
That's it for your peak from last week.
Oh, my
Lord
Lord.
have mercy.
They're going to come for the Every Woman show.
Oh my God.
Okay, so now back to the main topic of head, shoulders, knees, and toes. So today we're talking about preventive maintenance checks and services.
P.M.C.S. Yeah.
So we're going to start with head, shoulders, knees, and toes. And I know, Sabrina, you get triggered when we sing that, so I'm going to just leave it.
I know you heard them all.
it's okay.
My babies wake up
It's
singing the
okay.
song, and they are so
Okay.
excited because they know about their head,
They
their
know their
shoulders.
body parts.
We didn't
That's
mean
good.
it. We
That's the
didn't mean it.
beginning.
Bite me down.
All right, so we have 7 easy health checks that are fun that you can perform before breakfast. So the first one is, and allow me to demonstrate,
It's damn.
standing up without using your hands and sitting down.
Girl, you did a good job.
Right. Okay, after a certain age. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I can. I think I need a little assistance.
So listen,
Roll it on up.
the suggestion is to go to your favorite chair and try this exercise and do it without using your hands to propel yourself. And you can probably do it, over and over again. And it actually helps with your thigh and leg strength, some core strength. And if you're unable to do it without using your hands, the muscles that allow your hip joints to flex may be weak. So this is a sign of weakness in your hip joints, which could make you wobbly and prone to falling. I know my grandma done had one and too many falls in her life.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
scary
this is a
stuff.
good exercise to do that. And then one of the best ways to strengthen these muscles is to turn this self-check into an exercise. So number 1, stand up without using your hands. Sabrina, what you got?
I got number 2. Number 2 is touch your toes. So I'm going to lift my leg and touch
With
my
those
toe.
fabulous shoes.
And
Very cutesy.
and
Get
with
the shoe
this,
cam. Get the shoe cam.
Hold on, I'm gonna just get it and do like
Okay.
that. So my little flat. So the point of touching your toes. What we don't realize is that sometimes we don't get a chance to do the range of motion like, our human bodies are meant to do. And being able to stretch and touch your toes allows for circulation from your lower extremities to your upper extremities. You're starting to feel some pull in your hamstrings and even like lower back pain. Touching your toes, or at least standing and just hanging and allowing that gravity to like bring you down. That also is a good way to kind of get that circulation going. And I mean, I know we can all admit we sit a little more than we used to. So just reminding yourself that your toes are down there sometimes is a good idea.
Cool.
Touch 'em.
So what's the third one?
Well, something that you definitely want to try to practice is lifting your hands up.
You want us to do that?
Yeah.
Is this follow the leader?
Yes. Toy says, put your hands in front of you. Now, if your shoulders are screaming at this point, you probably have a rotator cuff or some type of musculoskeletal musculoskeletal. Yep, that works. But basically, it could be an issue that you have going on. You probably want to consult your doctor. There's also a possibility that there's some type of cardiovascular issue connected with that because it does lead to pain in your arm. You definitely want to make sure you get checked and stretch before you do anything, even before we go shopping, ladies. Just rotate those shoulders, get ready.
Carry them back.
Yes, bags and babies.
Oh no, we ain't carrying no
Leave the
baby.
babies at home to go shopping.
They're gonna stroll
They won't
in bags.
Alicia, what's our fourth?
So number 4 is size yourself up. right? So they're the two numbers that you don't want to decrease as you get older, unless you're not at a healthy weight, is your height and your weight, right? So unless you're not at a healthy weight, then of course you would want to be able to lose weight to get to a healthy weight. However, if your height decreases by even a half an inch, you could be prone to osteoporosis.
I can't afford that.
So some of the things that you can do to try to prevent it is eat bone-building foods like salmon, spinach, sweet potatoes, and then do weight-bearing activities like walking, dancing, strength training, and even gardening. We know you do gardening. So this will help to keep those muscles strong. We talked about doing vitamin D. I think that was something that was instilled in us as we were younger. Drink your milk so you can have strong bones.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I went on a 3-mile walk yesterday, and my hips are banging. Like, I guess I don't walk enough, but it was a good walk yesterday.
Good job.
Try doing a hip flexor stretch.
I did. It helped. What's next, Okila?
All right. So one of the most common blood issues in America is being anemic. You know, everybody's saying,
low
I'm
iron.
anemic.
Yeah.
Well, there's 2 ways that you could check your anemia. And one of them is by pulling your eyelid down.
Okay.
Okay, now what do y'all see?
It looked
Y'all
pretty
see that?
red,
It looked pretty
pinkish,
good.
you know.
Yeah.
Do it look good?
Good.
Look pink? Okay.
Okay.
Look pink? Okay, thank God. Okay, because pink means that it's healthy. Okay, if it's a little whitish or off-colored or not pink or reddish, then it kind of means that you definitely have a problem there. But there's also 2 ways to check. Another one is with your fingernails. So what they said is there's this thing that is called spoon nails. So if you have a spoon nail, you know, that's not a great thing. So all you have to do is, but not, if we didn't wear fake fingernails, this would be really easy. So you take a drop of water
Soy nails
and
clean.
you put it on. So she would take a drop of water and drop it on her nail, and if it rolls off, then you're okay.
Oh, yes, that happens. I
Okay,
just watched
so if that drop of water just kind of sits there, that means that you're kind of like your nail might be slightly inverted, which means that might be a sign that you are definitely anemic.
Okay.
So,
What
2
about
things to
you and
look for.
Ice?
So there's another one
didn't say.
that you guys can do. It's sticking out your tongue, right? So
You care to demonstrate? I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
you almost got it. Not in a good way.
We're waiting.
So when you first wake up in the morning, stick out your tongue, look in the mirror, stick out your see like that one in the back right there.
Okay.
Stick your tongue out. If you find that you have teeth marks on the side of your tongue in the morning, that could mean that there's a blockage, which means you could have obstructive sleep apnea.
It's
So,
true.
so you want to make sure that you check that. And another thing is also schedule a dental checkup because according to the Sleep Foundation, there's also a connection of sleep apnea with teeth grinding. So if you know that you grind your teeth in the night, or maybe you don't.
I do.
Oh, well, you
How
might
do you
want to
know?
go get that checked out.
Because
baby.
sometimes I catch myself grinding them before I go to sleep.
Yeah.
I thought it was a sign of parasites, so I done bought some parasite stuff. But that's another story.
I was actually
yeah,
told that I need
no.
a bite guard and to start using a sleep apnea mask.
Yeah, so maybe you
meat.
need to go ahead and schedule that dental exam.
My dental,
I'm sorry, but are the teeth marks on top of your tongue or on
They're
the
on the
side?
It's on the side.
Oh, I thought that was just from like my tongue resting in my mouth and it was a natural indent.
Nope, you're a teeth grinder.
Nope, or you know, there's a blockage when you sleep.
my dentist
I
was
definitely snore. Sorry.
my dentist was able to tell me that I had like grinding when I sleep, and I didn't know, but
Yeah.
the dentist said you have some fissures in your molars, and that comes from grinding in your,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay. Is that
Grinding in
it
your
for checking your tongue?
Yes.
Okay. And then what's the 7th one?
You might want to check your eyelids.
Okay.
So, you know, with life, we got crow's feet, we get bags, but if you have like a puffiness under your eye, it can actually be a sign of high cholesterol. So just a simple check with your doctor when you get your lipid profile done, and just, hey, check my cholesterol. It could be a possibility that that LDL, that's what it's called. That's the bad ratio, the good and bad ratio to cholesterol. You want to make sure that is happening, because there's a condition called xanthelasma. Y'all ever heard that word before?
Right. The asthma part, but not the xantho part.
Yeah, so it's basically a yellow puffiness that's under your eye. And that could be a sign of the higher or heightened cholesterol.
My cholesterol was high the last time I went too. And I know what it is, because I have a thing for seafood, okay? And I and I want to dip it in butter. Oh. Okay. So, all the salt, all the butter, all the fried chicken and fish.
It's just the life
I didn't need to do that.
So listen, I have a question though, because, with health, we want to think about, when we're working and having that balance between, work and life, and they call it work-life balance. I like to call it work-life harmony, because all these things are happening at the same time. How important is it for that to exist and be a part of for your health, for you to be healthy? How important is it for you to have work-life balance?
It's extremely important, because you can't pour from an empty cup.
Correct.
If you're constantly doing everything for everybody and you're not doing anything for yourself, you ain't gonna do nothing but stress your own self out. Yeah. And I say that because I'm dealing with kids, I'm dealing with grandkids, I'm dealing with this, I'm dealing with that, I'm dealing with clients, I'm still trying to run the household, and everything is on me and everybody's depending on me. And so that's why I said this is my week that I'm putting the gym back in. Okay. So, this is the week of trying to, because I didn't gave to everybody. So now it's my turn to give to me.
Refill your cup.
Yep. So, and it's that turn. So it's definitely important, because you can stretch yourself out.
So there's also this saying that laughter is the best medicine, right? Like, do y'all believe that? How important is laughter for helping you to heal your soul? Or actual...
I would say laughter is so important, for the simple fact that, I know Toy, as a professional comedian, working with professional comedians, I know that those people tend to be really tortured in a sense, but they find a way to laugh at it, and they make everybody else laugh, and it makes it less heavy when you talk about stuff like that. Marlon Wayans was talking about something as serious as sexual abuse and made people laugh. Wow. It's important.
Yeah. So in that same vein of laughter being the best medicine, that's kind of a very natural way. There are also a lot of side effects to medications and everything, right? So these days you think, maybe natural remedies are better. So I want to ask and turn this question over to our audience. Do you all think that natural remedies are the way to go? And Samira has the mic, and I think you're going to give us some insight.
I'm not a big fan of medication, or just going to the doctor and put me on something. I'm going to look for changing my food, making sure what I'm eating is more clean, because it's so important to be careful, because there's so many additives that are in our foods today that they're feeding cancer cells. Yeah. So all of the sugar that feeds your cancer cells. And also another thing is your mental health, like stress, disease is really dis-ease. So if your entire system is on stress and fight or flight mode, that's only causing, your insides to really disease to pop up eventually. Yeah. Because of the stress.
Yeah, and I see my homegirl Natural Fly representing over here. I know you know about some natural remedies and things like that. And you have a business, and you all do a lot of things with sweet potatoes, right?
Correct. Oh, man.
So, but what are some natural remedies that you would recommend, or do you believe in natural remedies?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same as the other sister was talking. I definitely don't. I tend to go okay, if I have acid reflux, I'm going to stop eating the things with acid in it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm going to use coconut oil for this. I'm going to use black seed oil for that. I'm going to use oregano oil for that. So I tend to always try the more natural way of doing something before I take the medication. Yeah. I know I have to absolutely do it for it to make sense for me.
Yeah, and it's important you listening to your body, right? Yeah. You saying, okay, I'm having acid reflux. What was it some tomato sauce or something?
Because that happened before. The doctor was like, I can give you all this medication. I was like, but if it's acid reflux, should I just stop eating acidic foods? He was like, well, you could do that.
Okay? Like,
But they have to
easy.
prescribe you because the average person is not going to do the thing. They're not going to stop eating the sugar so they won't be diabetic. They're going to take a pill so they can still ingest the sugar. And, whatever. So we all make choices. But when you want to be around for a lot longer, you want to be able to see children grow up and sit on the front porch and drink lemonade and do beautiful things with your family. So you want to be around and be fully mobile and be able to do that.
I've been blessed to have a number of men and women in my family who have lived to be over 100 years old.
Wow.
And I'm like, ooh, what you doing? What's the recipe?
You know that's right.
They down there, they cooking their own food. They growing their own food. They're not taking all these medications unless they absolutely have to. So I am a believer in, natural remedies, holistic care. And anywhere that I can place those in my life and remove other substances from my life, I'm willing to do that. Okay, that's new. The fun things about doing a live show. You get musical interludes to let you know you're talking too much. I don't know what's happening, but anyway.
Anything that comes from the earth, because you come from the earth, that works. It connects. It'll flow beautifully. Anything that outside of that, it's gonna be hard.
Listen, so when we come back, we got a special guest. Where we at? Talking about Hooters.
The most suckerest of sucker-ish you've ever done.
Staying with you when I shouldn't have. I let him walk all the way over me. It was so bad.
You know the most suckerish thing I did? I bought a woman a car and I didn't have one. That's the truth. It's the truth.
Definitely some suckers.
You are listening to the Sucker Stroke Hour.
Sucker.
I am everyone, man.
I love live TV. Okay, we talking about Hooters, but not the restaurant. We are joined now by our special guest, Howard Russell Mathis, MBA, MSN, RN, and he is going to be our resident expert today, talking about the Chi-Chis, the Hooters, and how we can check them. Hi.
Hello.
How you doing, Russ?
Hello.
Welcome, Russ.
Affectionately known as Russ to me. Y'all welcome Russ.
Definitely call me Russ.
So I think we're gonna jump it off by talking about like the 12 signs of breast cancer. You're gonna give us a little quiz because we were kind of talking about this before the show, and even us as women having to check ourselves on a regular basis didn't know a lot of the 12 signs, right? So there are 12 signs.
There are.
Y'all remember what they are? The first one on the list was dimples.
Thick nipples,
Inverted nipples,
Veins.
That's 4.
breast hardness,
Okay.
orange peel skin,
Yep.
Okay.
Lumps.
Yep.
Like lemon seed lumps.
discharge.
Discharge.
Yep.
Leaky.
did we say dented in breast?
Yeah, indented.
Yeah.
Dimples. That was the
Dimples.
first one.
Yep, okay.
I think it's like 5 more.
Soreness.
Oh, protruding veins.
Yes.
veins.
Okay, we
I
on
said
it. We got
veins.
like
Oh,
3
did-
more. Which ones we missing?
Fever? No.
Warmness.
Warmness.
Okay, hey, all right.
Redness.
Redness.
Red hot.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
many
we
more
said
we did?
tenderness, of course,
2
right?
more.
2
Two
more.
more.
Fill us in.
Oh, scarring? Like your skin scarring?
That's one. And breast size or shape changes.
Right. So why is it important for us to look for these 12 signs? Like these 12 indicators obviously can indicate breast cancer, but how do we check for them?
Well, your typical breast exam that most women know, where they raise their arm and feel around their breast. I think one of the most important things to do, though, as far as your awareness or your early awareness, is to get your mammograms. They catch many things that we can't feel. 85% of people that are diagnosed with breast cancer don't have a family history of it. So some people put mammograms on the back burner like, well, my mom didn't have it, my grandma didn't have it, so I'm probably good. And that might not be the case.
Yeah, I think that's a good point too, because a lot of people who do have a a family history of breast cancer, they actually start having those tests earlier.
Yeah.
The recommended age for women to start having breast mammograms is what, 40, right? But let's talk about men a little bit too, because men can also have breast cancer. Have you encountered many men in your profession who have developed breast cancer?
Yeah. So actually, early in my schooling, when I was in nursing school, I worked at a breast care practice. And out of the patients, we had roughly about 700 patients, and we did have one that was a breast cancer survivor. He actually lost his dad to breast cancer.
Wow.
So it's mildly prevalent, but it's around for us too.
So men need to do regular preventative checks as well.
Yes,
on their
we sure do.
chests.
Yeah, not as far as the mammograms. But one thing men have to realize, or we have to realize, is that everybody is born with breast tissue. The difference is, does it develop or does it not? But because we all have it, we all have the propensity to develop breast cancer.
So I know that if a man, may feel something going on, they go get a mammogram. Is it the same way that a woman gets a mammogram? And how does that work? Because
we're still squeezed on the glass.
How?
Because anything can be pinched.
What is happening?
It's like pinching. It's a very small amount of skin that they get to look at.
But they can still read it? That the big plates can read that pinch?
Yep.
Because
there are women with very small breasts and they still have to get mammograms.
Wow. I don't know about that.
Sounds painful no matter who's doing it.
Yeah.
So
pinching is not something I condone at home or other places. So
I call it squishing. It's definitely a squish.
Are there different machines? Because I know as a woman who's had several mammograms already, there is a machine where you actually have to, plop it up there and then they plop it down on you and they squeeze it tight and she be like, lean in closer. And you be like, but I'm on my tippy toes. Is there another machine that's a little less painful for, let's say, women or men who have dense breast tissue?
As far as I know, what I've seen in practice is that we're all using the same machines.
Okay.
And even for men, we haven't made any advances in the last 30 years when it comes to breast cancer in males.
Wow.
Yeah, I do know that for me, when I have to go, I have to usually get two. So they'll do the normal one where, the smushing. But then I also have to get I think it's an ultrasound.
Yeah.
Where you actually land on a table and they're almost like, when you're pregnant so it's the same thing. So I'm thinking that I thought maybe for men that might be the way to go, but I guess not.
Well, it's different views.
Okay.
I do highly recommend that you get an ultrasound in addition to your mammogram. The doctor's retired now, but the practice that I worked at, he always followed mammograms up with the ultrasound in the office.
Okay.
I have a question. You just mentioned that within the last 30 years, there's been generally, from your perspective on a professional level, no advancement in the world of men and having breast cancer. Yeah. I'd like to put that also with the idea of why is it 40? And how many of these 40-year-old people that are coming in, Black women? And to that matter, how many below 40 that are coming in that are Black women? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's earlier if you do have a positive family history. They will have you start at 35, maybe even 30. 40 is typically the age where you have a lot of genetic expression. So there are a lot of things that the light switch kicks on when you're 40 or in your 40s. That's where people with type 1 diabetes, they kick in there unless they were born with it. But yeah, all these different expressions of genes and mutations of genes, that switch happens typically in your 40s.
So it's important to start doing those checks. I mean, a lot of stuff changes when you hit them 40s.
Yes, it does.
But once you have your mammogram or you get your ultrasound or whatever preventative check that you get from the doctor, let's say you have a positive diagnosis. We know about chemotherapy. We know about radiation therapy. What determines which one of those treatments you get or if, you do something holistic or do nothing?
Well, a lot of it depends on what stage they catch it in, where they find it at.
Can you talk about the stages?
Yeah, sure. So stage 1 is typically not really felt. When you get to stage 2, it's like a pea size, which is pretty advanced when you think about something that started microscopic. So there's no way you're going to feel it. Now it's the size of a pea. So that's a lot of growing. Stage 3 is when you start getting into the more involved cancers, the metastatic disease. And then stage 4 is completely when you're in metastatic disease. And the cancer is setting up in other spots. It breaks off and travels and sets up in other spots.
And that's typically when it is inoperable, so they say, right?
Yeah, typically. There have been some people with success with stage 4, but it's not the general consensus.
Okay. What do you in your experience say to people who want to try holistic or natural remedies when it comes to treating their cancers?
I do believe in holistic medicine. I think the problem comes in is that things are too advanced at that point. You'll hear people say, oh, for your blood pressure or for your heart, take garlic. And I believe that can work. The problem is when you have a 75% blockage in the blood flow to your heart, we need a stronger intervention. So the same thing with breast cancer. Like, I do believe living a life with decreased stress, having a good diet, all these things do factor in, having good relationships. All those factor in. However, I do believe at a certain point, and I've seen patients that tried to rely on those, and they only progressed to worsening and worsening stages.
Wow.
So my question is, I had a scare. I was in the shower and I, was doing an exam, and I tend to do that because I had an aunt on my dad's side who unfortunately passed away from breast cancer, and I felt a lump. I cried the whole night. And I ended up making a doctor's appointment, and they decided, I did have a mammogram, and I was like in my early 30s. So I had my first mammogram, and they didn't see a mass, so they decided to do a biopsy. Thankfully, it was just a benign cyst, but they had me come back and follow up. So about a year or two, about 2 years ago, they had me come back again and just have a mammogram. I'm one of those people, because of the cyst and because of my family's history, like, I started early and I go more frequently. Like, I'm due this year, I'm going to go. But is there a chance that someone who has a benign cyst, does that increase their chances of possibly developing breast cancer?
No, not necessarily. And the cyst part about it is some people really have cystic breasts, where you can have it drained, and a couple years later you might have 1 or 2 back again. So I've seen a lot of patients come in where they feel a lump, and we ultrasound. We can see it's a cyst, and the doctor will go through with the needle and just drain the fluid out. But yeah, there are some women that have more lumpy kind of breasts, and that's why you should stay on top of your mammograms, just to make sure everything is on the up and up.
Yeah. Sabrina had shared an interesting statistic with us earlier that 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer. So there are at least 8 of us women sitting in this room right now, right? 1 in 8.
We got one.
We got one right here. We have a studio audience member. Do you mind sharing a little bit about your journey? Or I don't want to put you on the spot. So you are the 8 in our room.
Okay, what would you like to know?
So diagnoses. What led you to your diagnosis?
Breast cancer runs in my family. My mom was a breast cancer survivor. Because of her history, we had gone to walks and everything each year, just out of support. However, with my mom having breast cancer and my grandmother actually had lung cancer, they thought that it was best that I would start getting mammograms early. So I've been getting mammograms since I was 25.
Wow, even younger than what you said. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I believe I was diagnosed, how old am I? Okay, I believe I was diagnosed about 8 years ago. And I was stage 0, actually, when they originally told me. However, after having a biopsy, even after the biopsy, once we actually had the surgery, because I decided to have a mastectomy, they found out that I was actually stage 1. They were able to get it, and it started off, like he said, very microscopic. It wasn't anything that I can feel. It was very much in the back of my breast, so it's not even something that the mammogram actually picked up. They caught it in the ultrasound.
Oh, wow.
So I do advise everyone definitely stay on top of your breast exams, as well as get the BRCA test to see if that gene runs in your history.
Okay.
And a lot of people will even have that BRCA gene test done without having a family history, just because they've heard about it and want to see if that's something they experience. I believe, what's the young lady name that played?
You talking about the one who just died recently?
Angelina Jolie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she actually took the BRCA gene test, saw that she had the gene, and decided to get mastectomies because of that.
Okay.
Wow.
So, well, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for being on the spot, vulnerable, and sharing your story. It has definitely enlightened us. We learned about BRCA genes, and mammograms may not always catch it. So you may also want to advocate for yourself and request the ultrasound as you suggested.
I wanted to say thank you for bringing that point up, because it was something that surprised me to know that this is likely to happen to any woman walking around. This is not just something that cancer happens and whatever. It's likely to happen to you. And so what October really is working to do, in my opinion, is say that this is preventative. You don't have to die. These are the ways that you can prevent, and see that if you're caught early enough, this is something that you can see the other side of. But we know cancer to be so doom and gloom.
Yeah.
This pink color that's shown is like a little pink hope. Like, look, just get in touch, figure out what's going on with your body, and we won't have to go through the doom and gloom.
Russ, thank you so much for joining us and imparting knowledge on us. We appreciate you joining us. To our studio audience, thank you for sharing. To our viewing audience, make sure that you go and you get your checks. Get your checks. Breast cancer is just one form. There are many other forms. So make sure you're having your annual exams and taking care of yourselves, okay? All right, when we come back, we're going to have a little more fun, lighten it up a little bit, and talk about, is it okay? We'll be right back in 30 seconds, maybe.
I said, Mr. Officer, look, you might take me to jail, and that's okay, but I need you to take me to Taco Bell right now, because I got a boo-boo so bad.
I am everyone.
So this is a little bit of a fun segment that we do, but we ask some serious questions. Is it okay? ... So, Toy, you got a scenario for us, and then we're going to ask the question if it's okay. So what's the scenario?
Okay, so let's say that you and your child's father, y'all co-parenting, and they end up dating someone else. You send your child over, and, you know, your little girl has, you know how they get the cute braids and everything, and she has some braids. She goes over to the home and returns to you. Braids are gone. And you ask why, and the father explains that they had an event to go to, and his girlfriend decided to take the braids down because they were a little old and she did her hair. Is it okay for your person that you're co-parenting with, significant other, to change your child's hair without consulting you?
Okay. So setting boundaries. Is it okay to set boundaries with your co-parent on such scenario? Everybody just took a deep.
You know, I've been in the situation, but it was the opposite, because actually it was my stepdaughter. And we were raising her along with my daughter, and she would come over our house. But the only difference is because I do hair, it wasn't that her braids got taken away. Baby, I gave them full weaves. Honey. This is when latch hook first came out.
Oh,
when I tell you, we went home.
Okay.
Oh, they was about 4 or 5 years old. They had, girl, they was both Diana Ross.
I
And I was the third. Okay, it was a good time. They was
like
beautiful. Yeah, her mama was so mad. Her mama was so mad.
How big was the hair?
It was big, honey. We was all big. All 3 of us was big. Matter of fact, we went to Niagara Falls. The Chinese people was stopping us to take pictures because they didn't know what to do with the latch hooks. And I had showed them right there with my 2 babies running around. They was like, oh.
Okay. Really?
But at the end of the day, her hair was done the whole time. I mean, it was growing.
You put latch hooks in that baby hair.
Both of them. Her daughter and my daughter, okay?
What made you do that? Was their hair like not done?
I'm a hairstylist.
I understand.
Okay?
But was the kids' hair done when they came over, the stepdaughter?
She had like a little ponytail.
You didn't like it?
Okay. My daughter was about to be big Diana.
You like, we gonna all
make a match.
We raised them kind of like twins. They was the same age. We talking 20 years ago. Okay, when I'm talking about so long ago, but still, it was when latch hook first came out, where everybody was wearing them little braids, and they had a little hook at the end.
I had latch hooks
before they was hooking. Like I was in kindergarten. I was about 5, and
okay, but was it okay? Was there a situation?
She was upset.
I bet she
was upset.
What did she say to you? And
she didn't say anything to me. She said it to my ex-husband at the time. So,
was a boundary established on you doing their hair?
No, because I kept doing it. Because if she's staying with me for the summer, I mean, she's staying with me. So her hair needs to be done, okay? And my baby hair was done, so her baby hair was going to be, because her baby was my baby when she was in my care. Everybody was done, and they were beautiful. I got those pictures, too. I wish I had them. I would show them to you. Boy, their hair was so big. I got them, too.
I'm going to say that it's okay. It's not right, but it's okay. I don't think, I have some funny feelings about this and my daughter's hair and all this other stuff. But one thing I've come to understand about this co-parenting.
Come on, you can get
you saying it like it's not a real thing.
It's a real thing.
You can get
I don't understand it. It's not a reality in my life the way I read about it or it's defined in conversation. I don't understand. But the point I'm making is that even my baby came home with his hair cut and his dad did it. And he wasn't even 2 years old yet. So I had to come to Jesus because Jesus is the only one that would hear me without me getting in trouble. And Jesus was like, this is his time. And no matter what I care or don't care or what I say, I don't have control over what happens when they're not with me. I have to relinquish some of that, and I don't like it. I don't.
So there is no such thing as setting those boundaries. I mean, this is the other parent in the child life. Can you set those boundaries? But you just said
try.
You could try.
You could try.
Okay, but
everybody gotta be friendly.
But that's the thing. In order for boundaries to be established, there has to be respect, and people have to be okay saying, "I care enough to allow this boundary for your." You know, that person might think your boundary is petty and they ain't gonna do it.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna
sure.
they ain't gonna walk to the beat of no baby mama type stuff. Like, that happens. I'm just saying it happens sometimes.
You gotta kind of look at the scenario too. Like, is the other parent mad because the child hair was done and it's something that they don't approve of? Or is it a problem that the other parent's significant other just did something motherly or fatherly towards that child?
Or is it just not okay because they didn't consult with you before actually taking the action? Like the respect of a phone call, like, hey, I'm about to cut the baby's hair, or hey, we about to put these latch hooks in.
And the thing is, like, latch hooks are removable, but like, remember the creamy crack era where everybody was getting a relaxer? Yeah. Like, that's something major to do to hair. That's extreme.
That's extreme, right?
Yeah.
Cutting hair
and relaxers,
or relaxing hair, that's a lot.
Yeah.
A little head full of latch hooks, that is not that bad.
Sticking to her story.
Well, the thing is, because every time she came over, she got that weave now, But the thing is I made it more and more tamed, because if she's about to stay with me for the summer, it's my job. And we never really, like, me and the mom never really talked. So the conversation was always had with the dad. So, I mean, and now when I think about my daughter, when she would go to her dad's house, I was friendly with everybody. I was friendly with every one of his girlfriends. Hey, girl, because the thing is, I wanted a rapport with the woman who about to take care of my daughter.
That's important.
You know, so I
important.
felt it was really a good thing to be friendly. Like, hey, girl, hey, because I'm about to go. You know, like, so y'all be good. You know what I'm saying? She can't eat this, but, you know, everything's going to be fine. And, you know, so I think today as co-parenting, we got to be better with understanding that this relationship is forever. Yeah. We got these kids. Yeah. I mean, I don't care what you're going through. And I can't lie. When I got the divorce, we had like issues for the first couple years. But right today, we're like really cool because we are co-parenting with these boys, and it's just no issues.
I look forward to that. In years
will
to
happen.
come.
But you gotta want it to happen. I think it can be weird in the beginning, but it can happen. You gotta want it to happen though. You start looking at baby daddy like he like baby daddy in law.
Baby in-law. Baby daddy in law.
Where that come from?
It's like new family member.
So I have another scenario, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So say that you were married, you separate from the first husband. You meet somebody and you marry the second husband. You have 2 small children. And they're with you, so they are being raised by the second husband because the first husband just stopped.
I'm already lost, Alicia.
Listen, the first husband stopped caring for the children. As the children get older, you know, they meet people or whatever. So the one daughter is going to get married. And the stepfather is now the parent who is helping go, you know, with the wedding plans and stuff, paying for it, all of that stuff. And so the original dad comes back. Now he wants to be involved.
This is the biological father.
Yeah. The biological, that part.
Okay.
So now the daughter wants the biological father to walk her down the aisle.
Ouch.
After the stepfather has been there, done everything, paid for. He hasn't completely paid. He owes like $10,000 more on his wedding. So he stops paying.
You seeing the manifest of this wedding?
Because he like, you know, why can't we both walk you down the aisle?
Yeah, exactly.
And she like, no, I want my daddy to walk me down the aisle.
Oh, so what's it?
Is it okay for him to stop paying at that point for the wedding because now he's feeling like I'm an outsider almost?
Can I just say your feelings are always valid. Mm-hmm. You know, your feelings are your feelings. But I think it's something to being a man of your word, a woman of your word, and holding to a commitment that you've made, no matter how hurt you are. Because kids, they gonna hurt us. Mm-hmm. You know, as parents, you'll like, I know it sounds real bold, but I've like made up in my mind that one day, one or both of my children are going to break my heart somehow. And I'm trying to prepare myself for that. I don't know what that heartbreak is going to be or what it's going to feel like, but I'm going to continue to love them unconditionally. I've already decided. But my feedback on that is I think you should hold to your commitment, you know, and feel how you feel because your feelings are valid. You know, I would be hurt for sure. Yeah. But if I said I'm going to pay for this, and I'm going to stick to that.
I think it's valid to talk to the biological father, like, hey, you know, I helped raise her. Not use it as a moment to shun the biological father, but express his feelings. Like, I look at this as my own flesh and blood as well. And what you gonna put in on this, bruh?
It's tough. I find myself between a dad and a hard place sometimes. You know, my biological father.
A dad and a hard place?
Because I have my opinions, but the point is that I too have these 2 people in my life. Mm-hmm. And I thought about what would that look like. And I think that sometimes we get so much more mad about the situation than what we can actually talk out. You know, like there's actually something that both people want and both people can have if they work together. You know, sometimes we just get the cussing and fussing and forget that there's a common goal. And so I think that I would want to see them man up and talk about it. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, in that scenario, isn't the conversation supposed to be like she's the one who made the decision?
Yeah.
Well, maybe they need to do some type of compromise. Like, why can't, you know, the real dad walk her down the aisle, but stepdad can give her first dance?
Y'all want to know what's funny? I was just watching the episode of Grey's Anatomy because I've been binge watching. Have I done this every week? I don't know.
It's fine.
But it was the exact thing. she got engaged. Her biological father, first of all, didn't know that she existed, but eventually found out. But her dad that raised her was still alive. So their compromise was, and this is totally fictional, like this is the whole TV show. But their compromise was that her father who raised her will walk her down the aisle, and they asked the biological father to officiate the wedding. So there was a way to continue to keep that person involved and to make them feel honored. So I think there's ways to compromise.
Definitely.
Yeah. What do y'all think?
Anybody in the audience got any opinions on this particular
They're
matter?
the gentleman.
Okay, what you got to say, brother?
Microphone.
You got 2 minutes to say it.
How y'all
or
doing?
less.
Well, for starters, it's about respecting the father that's been there in her life, because that can be disrespectful. And as Tam, talked about it, that's something if you committed to doing it, then you still do it. But I would want to know what the mother thinks, because the mother could have some type of influence and still say, so, well, this person has been there for the longest. We can incorporate your biological dad, but it all becomes a respect factor at that point. How do the family respect you, or are they just using you?
So let me say this. In that particular scenario, the mother said, don't break her heart. If this is what she wants, let her have what she wants.
And there's the influence you were talking about that the mother would have.
Yeah, so that's kind of hard.
Give him a place somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's
besides the pair.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, can he get another job besides just being the person to shove out the money?
I've always been a person that always wondered the why in a decision. And so now it makes me question, what do you really feel about your stepfather, too?
Mm-hmm.
So
I am.
This man didn't pay for you to go to college, all this stuff.
he basically your father. Take the step out. He raised you. Like,
that was tough.
That was tough. I feel him. I feel him on that one. I might be with him and stop paying too. I might.
I could say so many things about the step parent relationship, because I have one and have known this person since I was 6 years old. Mm-hmm. So I've been raised with this person, right? So I have lots of thoughts on that, but I didn't want to get into it because we have come to the end of this episode. Did y'all enjoy this show? Yeah. All right. So I forgot to ask what we're talking about next week, so it's going to be a surprise because I don't know what we talk about next week. But we will be here live again at 7:30 on EVRY TV Plus. Please share this episode, like, comment, hop in the group chat, go to our website. What's the website? EveryWoman.tv.
We got it wrong.
EveryWoman.tv. Go check us out there. The website is so dope. You can see all of our past episodes, and all of our merch is available for purchase there.
And sign up to be an audience member.
Exactly. Sign up to be a part of the group chat.
And check the tatas.
And check your tatas. See you next time. Peace.
I am every woman.